in a typical Atlanta fashion, um, the Falcons continue to do what they do. We were just talking about this, the Atlanta Falcons, just the entire city, the sports scene from all sports in Atlanta is just I don't know what's going on with them. They cannot win for whatever reason. I don't know, but you had the Miami Dolphins coming into town that were pretty much decimated, man. I mean, really, the team, the Miami Dolphins, should not have won this game. This should have been the Atlanta Falcons walking away with this like easily. Like this is easy. But remember what we said. We'll never ever pick the Falcons to win anything. You can't pick them. And so the Miami Dolphins, as scripted, comes on in to Atlanta. And check this out also. Any team that comes into Atlanta, they always have the majority of fans in the stadium. Or at least it sounds like that, at least. So I don't know where all of these Miami fans came from, but it was Miami fans everywhere. And so they come into Atlanta. You might as well this might as well have been in Miami because they just manhandled the Falcons 34-10. This is just ridiculous. I can't explain it. I do not know what happens to Atlanta teams, but again, I wasn't surprised. When I saw the score, I was like, there we go. Lee, I think you text me. You're just like Atlanta doing Atlanta things. Yes.
Yep. Here we go again.
There we go with Atlanta Falcons. But hey, this is Atlanta, man. We used to it. This is what they do on a regular basis.
So I actually had picked Atlanta. Now, I had barely picked Atlanta, but I was like, okay, it's the Dolphins. The Dolphins kind of reeling. I don't know which Atlanta offense we're going to get. We're going to get the high-flying offense or the we can't make nothing work offense, right? Then on Saturday, it's like, yeah, Penix ain't going to play. It's going to be Cousins. It's like, oh, yeah. Atlanta definitely going to lose now. Like, if I had known it was going to be Cousins, I was going to change that from jump because I know Kirk Cousins from his time in Minnesota. And I see how he played last year in Atlanta. And ain't nothing telling me he's been better since that last year. But honestly, so I figured Atlanta would lose. I didn't figure it was going to be 13. That like somehow Miami gets new life. It's like, Halloween coming up and they had a Michael Myers resurrected from the dead. Tour playing like he back in Alabama, 20 for 26. McDaniel now looks like a good head coach, and at least for a week, everything is nice and cool in Miami, But I don't understand, 21 for 31 for Kirk Cousins, 173, no touchdowns, no picks. There shouldn't be a game. There should never be a game for the Atlanta Falcons where Bijan Robinson has as many touches as Kyle Pitts. 9. They fed the tight end, and they didn't give their star running back the ball. Like, I don't care if he got 0 yards after 9 carries. You got to give Bijan Robinson more than 9 carries. So, but yeah. So I figured it was going to happen once I realized Cousins was going to start, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad. And like the defense that has played well at times during the year wasn't really there. And Tua, smiling, talking about his swollen eye and him playing like one eye closed or whatever. But yeah, 34-10. There you go. So.
Called it. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. I'm not even surprised by the score. I actually expected them to get blown out by the Dolphins, even though the analytics showed that the Falcons were supposed to win this one and they were supposed to win it easily. Right? That's what the analytics bore out. The Dolphins, notoriously for the past couple of weeks before this game, their run defense was putrid, horrible. Everybody was running up and down on them. So you come into this game with Bijan Robinson, who before this game led the league in scrimmage yards. This is more scrimmage yards than McCaffrey, more scrimmage yards than who I think right now is the front runner for MVP, Jonathan Taylor, right? More scrimmage yards than any other skill position player. And as Doc said, he only touched the ball 9 times. Doesn't make any sense. What makes it even worse is that you have Kirk Cousins in as the quarterback, and you decided to go pass heavy. That made absolutely no sense to me. So they deserve it. It's typical. We expected it. Dolphins got Ravens next week, so I think everything is going to go back and flip back the way it was. But yeah, for the Falcons, man, I don't know what to say about this team. They got the talent. They have the players, and for whatever reason, they just can't get it together. I like Raheem Morris. I liked him as our DC when he was with the Rams. I don't understand what's going on.
I wonder if, like you say, Raheem Morris is a good coach, but it's something missing. It's something not adding up. Doc mentioned, and this was true. If he knows, Kirk Cousins, you know who Kirk Cousins is, right? And Lee, you talked about Bijan Robinson. I mean, we're casual fans watching the game, and I can't put it together. I just don't understand how you do not run Bijan Robinson. I really don't get it. I mean, and I agree with you guys. Like, if he is, I don't care if he gets stopped. Just give him the ball because he's going to break one. It's going to happen. But it's beyond me. It's just great.
Even if you say, like, from a script perspective, right, the game got away with you in the first half, I can kind of get with that, right? But going into the half, they were only down with 17-3. The game plan, the adjustment should be get Bijan the ball. It doesn't even have to be run specific. Just throw it in the flat.
Right.
Something, right? Just throw him open. Get him the ball. Get him the ball in space. Swing your offensive line out. Give him a convoy. Something. And let him work. Watching that game, it was like he was not even a second or third option.
I like Raheem, but I put this on him. You're the head coach.
Yeah.
You're the head coach. You gotta do better, man. You gotta do better. As a head coach, you really have to do better when you have a player like that on your team. But hey, again, this is Atlanta. But speaking of the Ravens, I know you mentioned, the Dolphins got the Ravens, and we'll talk about that game later on. But the Ravens, Chicago Bears visited the Ravens, Baltimore. I actually thought that this one was I thought the Bears were going to, to win this game. I think I had picked the Bears to win this game because Lamar Jackson wasn't playing. I know they had some mix up with Lamar. He was practicing, but then he didn't play. So Lamar didn't play. I think he's going to play this Thursday. And the Bears coming in. Caleb Williams threw for 285 yards, one interception. DeAndre Swift only had 45 yards rushing, but he had 11 touches. And, you had Tyler Huntley in the game. It wasn't like he was efficient. He did his thing. Derrick Henry did his thing. Didn't get over 100 yards, but, 21 carries, 21 touches. And the Ravens win this game. I was kind of a little surprised because I really thought the Bears were going to win this game. So what this is telling me is that obviously we know the Bears are not quite there yet, because this should have been a game. If you're on the rise as a team, this should have been a game that you definitely should have won. With the backup QB for the Baltimore in there. Baltimore hadn't been playing well. Lamar Jackson isn't in the game. I don't see how you don't take advantage of that and win this game. But again, I definitely want to hear from you guys on this, with Caleb Williams. Again, it doesn't look like he's following Ben Johnson's system to the T. And that could be the reason why it's kind of up and down in some of these games. But Baltimore Ravens come away with the win, 30-16. It was kind of a little disappointing for me because I thought the Bears were going to be on a rise. Doc, I know you like this outcome, but I thought the Bears were going to be on a rise, but it looks like they're just quite not there yet.
This one of them situations where, I was trying to do the math and I had Chicago winning and I was wrong. and I'm happy. Even when I lose, I'm winning, right? Chicago lost. I'm happy the Bears didn't win. And there, the question still remains, is Caleb Williams the guy for Ben Johnson? Is he going to be able to fit Ben Johnson's scheme? And remember, Ben Johnson ain't draft Caleb Williams, so he ain't got no loyalty to Caleb. So if he's like, look, that's not my guy, we need to shop him and get something else, then if Chicago were smart with the head coach like that, they actually would do it. I gotta give Baltimore credit because I think they went back to basics. Derrick Henry touched the ball 21 times. Tyler Huntley used his legs at 8 carries, for like 50 yards himself, and then was 17 for 22. 1 touchdown, no interceptions. So it's like, hey, your backup quarterback's actually making some plays, getting some first downs, efficient with the ball. You're feeding Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers making some plays. Defense plays well enough, and you win 30-16, right? So hats off to Baltimore for finally kind of righting the ship, getting ready for Lamar to come back. But I agree with you. This should have been a game when the backup quarterback is in, and he's replacing a former league MVP, multiple-time league MVP. You should be able to win this game. And to lose by 2 touchdowns, you're not clicking on all cylinders and see how things go.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Lynx, about the Bears are not there quite yet, and they're not. But there's still a ton of improvement that's been made to this point compared to last season, right? We want to definitely acknowledge that. Before this game, they won a 3-game winning streak, and you can say a lot about that as well. But I did pick the Ravens to win this game, even without Lamar playing. Like I said, Patrick Ricard, he had come back. Roquan Smith, he had come back as well. So they had a lot of good pieces that was in this game that I feel was going to help contribute to a possible win over the Bears. And the reason why I think they would have been able to win without Lamar is because of what you said about Caleb Williams and the Ben Johnson offense. He's working, he's getting better. You can see that Caleb is really trying. And it is outside of his nature, right? What he's doing to a degree. And I think that's the tough part. But he's putting in the effort, and it's not going to happen overnight. There's something like this is going to take at least 2 years for him to really feel comfortable in this particular offense. Luckily for him, he has the equity from being the first overall pick and all the hype that came with it. They have to be patient with him. Right? If it was anything less than that, he probably would be sitting down right now, because I know Ben has a short fuse when it comes to attention to detail and making sure that his offense is run in a certain way. But they're going to be patient with him. He's going to have time, but he's going to need the time. He still makes a lot of mistakes. Even in the games they won, he made a lot of mistakes, a lot of silly mistakes, snap fumbles, making the wrong reads, a lot of inaccuracies from inside the pocket. But his athleticism was able to compensate for some of that. And if you look at the last 2 games, I don't think he's thrown 1 touchdown in the last 2 games. Okay, so the game he had against the Saints last week, I think it was under 200 yards, like two interceptions, no touchdown. So I think what Ben is doing, he's trying to put more of an emphasis on the run, and I think teams are starting to catch up with that. They're seeing the tape, they're seeing what Caleb is not able to do, and they're kind of forcing now. Remarkable as it sounds, they're forcing the Bears to try to win with Caleb. Right, so until he gets his offense down, that's going to be the Achilles heel. But the Ravens, I think they're on the upward trajectory. They are now at a 45% chance of winning the NFC North, thanks to the Steelers losing their game. So they're still in this, even though I think they're 2-5. They're 2-5. They're actually still in the hunt to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, Lamar coming back should definitely right the ship for them, hopefully. And they took all the video games out of the locker room. So they threw all the video games.
Because get this now, the Ravens, after this, right, they get the Dolphins next week, right? And no slight on your team, Doc, but they get the Vikings after that. They get the Jets, they get the Browns, and they get the Bengals.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Right? So they could easily go on a streak.
4 out of 5.
There you go.
They could easily go 4 out of 5.
There you go.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
There's a streak in there somewhere that they can.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. That's interesting. Looking at that they could definitely get back on track. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a get back on track schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In this next game, man, I gotta give it to Justin Fields. You know, the Jets get their first win. You know, I like I said before, 39-38 over the Bengals. My old man used to say, and I never used to understand this because he just used to come up with sayings and stuff like that. My old man used to say, you need to be beaten with a desert whip. You know what? And that's
Desert
what
whip.
a desert whip, man. And that's what
Desert
Cincinnati needed to get beat with. A desert whip. Whatever that is.
Stop. What is a desert whip?
I don't even know. That's just what he used to say. That's what he used to say. But let me tell you this. I believe in Justin Fields, man. And, you know, I am glad the young man really, after what the owner said about him coming out and you know, and dissing him and talking about him like that, for him to come back and have the kind of game that he had, man, that made me feel good. Made me feel good for him to win a game and get Aaron Glenn his first win of the season. He looked good, man. He 244 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and the Bengals should have this should have been the Bengals game easily, you know, with Joe Flacco. I know Joe Flacco has a shoulder problem now, so I don't know if he's going to play this next game or if they're going back to Browning. I know those receivers don't want to go back to Browning, so you know they probably doing everything to try and get Flacco back healthy again. But you know, Brees Hall, you know, playing phenomenal, and the Jets come up with the first win, man. I'm happy to see that. But I am really, really, truly, I was happy to see Justin Fields play like I wanted to see him play, and I wanted him to get that win and really bounce back from what the owner was saying about him. So, you know, kudos to Justin Fields.
So I'm kind of mad, but I'm selfish mad because I've been playing a survival league, right? And I was doing good. I mean, I've been surviving. I mean, I had the Cowboys 1 week surviving for me. Like I was going just saving folks for like down the road. I used the Bills. I used the Colts, right? So this week come
And
around,
they used the Bengals.
and I was like, you know what? I can go with the Bengals. I can go with the Bengals this one, right? Like they should get this one. They going against the Jets. The Jets in disarray. I know they ain't got no defense, but it's Flacco with them 2 receivers. We should be good. And all game, I'm tracking it. Bengals winning. Bengals winning. Bengals winning. I turn around, come back. Jets win 39-38. Like, my gosh. So, yeah. That's off to Justin Fields for shutting up Woody Johnson, throwing a touchdown, eating 21 passes. And the Jets, you know, making Brees Hall have a Brees Hall type game, right? And, you know, things happen with the Bengals like we expect. The Bengals scored 38, but they gave up 39, right? The defense is porous, and the Jets actually had their offense show up for a game. So happy for Justin Fields. Brees Hall had a really strong game with 2 touchdowns, 133 yards on the ground. And, you know, Flacco wasn't bad. 23, 2 touchdowns himself. Was feeding Jamar Chase all game. But yeah, so my survival league is over, and because of the Bengals, I put my trust in the Bengals, and the Bengals let me down, and so that's just it. But congrats to the Jets, and congrats to Aaron Glenn for getting his first win as a head coach, and hopefully he'll get many more.
Yeah, I think this was really, I mean, definitely happy for Fields, right? He had a pretty strong game throwing the ball, creating with his legs, playing outside the X's and O's, which we know he can do. But I think this was more also about them actually finding a way to activate Brees Hall. Brees Hall was the central focus for this offense, as he should be, right? Over 100 yards rushing, 2 rushing touchdowns, and a passing touchdown, right? So, you know, giving him the ball, scheming plays for him to create, to make things happen with his athleticism, his vision. And then also kudos to Aaron Glenn. He made some really tough coaching decisions, even one that I questioned when they went for 2, when they were down 14, because they were going with the analytics. And you should have seen me. I was saying some some things at that screen that I probably shouldn't have been saying. I'm like, what are you doing? And initially they didn't get it. And then they went and they did he had to throw a flag. They did the review. And I mean, the tip of the nose hit that goal line like that much. So it paid off and they ended up winning by that much. Right. So kudos to him. He took the risk. It paid off. And, I don't know how many more games they're going to win, but I know it's a feel good scenario for them to kind of get off the schneid, as Chris Berman would say, and start hopefully building off of something like this. Also, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, especially with Brees Hall performing the way that he did, and some of the other players, that they move some players before the trade deadline and try to get some more draft capital to help build the team for the future, because there is a question as to whether they want to hold on to some of these guys long term.
Yeah, makes sense.
Couple of things, Lee. Yeah, I've never been a fan of the go for two, you're down 14 and you score, right?
Yeah.
And I understand the math. It's like a 54 versus 50% where if you don't get it, then you go for two again and you try to make up for it. But it's like, if you didn't get it the first time, we'll miss it again.
You can get it the second time.
Right. And it's like, if you don't have a decent kicker who can't kick a 35-yard field goal as an extra point, like, you in trouble anyway. But like in this situation, it worked, and kudos for being adventurous. The other thing I don't understand is why the league has gotten so quarterback centric, even on teams that have really good running backs, right? Like Baltimore's made the adjustment with Derrick Henry, the Colts with Jonathan Taylor, Philadelphia, with Saquon. But like Brees Hall is, if not a top 5, top 10 back. Like, he's a workhorse back. And more times than not, he's not touching the ball 20 times a game. Even with a quarterback where you're like, hey, I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback. We got a top 10 running back. Why ain't we featuring the top 10 running back? Right. And it's the OCs, the quarterback coaches, they just get really caught up in the delusions of grandeur of the quarterback dropping back and throwing 35 times and, 3 touchdown passes. And it's like, you got this workhorse and you ain't using it and you're losing games. And it's like, it's different if you get the ball 25 times and you got 50 yards rushing. Like, you tried, it didn't work that particular game, but you got to feed him, so.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think he definitely has top 5 talent at the position easily. I can't really name many running backs that are more talented than him. The production, that's a different story, but he's definitely up there when it comes to overall talent. Why they're not featuring him? And I was questioning that last year with a healthy Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, you got Aaron Rodgers, you have teams that are going to be playing back. The box is going to be softer. Run the ball with Brees. Just give him a heavy dose. And then hopefully if they start inching up, then that'll open things up for Aaron in the play action, because he's really good with those play action calls. Don't get it. I don't understand it.
But this may be the catalyst, for the Jets now, I guess, seeing this. And sometimes, I know you guys are saying about the 2 points. Sometimes you just got to take a risk. I mean, you're already 0-6.
Yep. What you got to lose?
What you got to lose? Just go for it. Just roll the dice and go for it. Because if he wouldn't have got it, like you say, Lee, by the tip, then it would have been like, okay, this the Jets. They lost again. Hey, go for it. Try to get the win, and like you said, it paid off. So this may be something that could jolt them and get them. They could string a couple wins together, and you never.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And I mean, look, you got the Bengals. Trey Hendrickson went out the game pretty early, so he was a non-factor. And that defense without Trey Hendrickson is being led by 2 rookies, Demetrius Knight being one of them. Okay, and it's like, outside of that, there's nobody else. There's nobody else. So the Jets are not going to have a better chance to win outside of what they did this week, and kudos to them for doing it. But like I said, they got the Ravens next. That's not going to be.
Yeah,
it's not going to be pretty. Yeah.
Well, in this next game, Doc, you wanted to see. You were talking about the running backs, James Cook and Rico Dowdle. This was gonna. You wanted to see what was gonna happen there. James Cook, 216 yards. 2 touchdowns. Rico Dowdle, 8 for 54. I knew Buffalo was not going to lose 3 straight. coming back off a bye week. I didn't know it was going to be this big, 40-9. But again, Andy Dalton was playing for Carolina at quarterback.
Right.
What could you expect there? So the Buffalo did what they were supposed to do. They got back in the win column, 5-2. I don't know. Well, yeah, I do know. This is a Buffalo team that they might be starting to turn the corner. They got a couple games coming up. This is going to be interesting coming up in their next couple games. But how things turn out, they're definitely a playoff team. Carolina, I know they have the two-headed monster there. Running back position. I think I heard somebody today saying on one of the ESPN shows was saying that he believes that the Carolina Panthers are going to win the NFC South because Tampa Bay with the injuries and stuff and it's going to catch up with them. And he feels like with the running game that they have in Carolina that they could win the NFC South. I don't know about that. I think Carolina Panthers are going to they'll finish second. I could give them that. I don't know if they're going to be able to take down Tampa Bay. But again, Buffalo did what they were supposed to do in this game. And, it wasn't any surprise to me to see, the score 40-9, obviously, but this is what the Bills are expected to do if they are supposed to be a Super Bowl type team. So there you go.
Yeah. So, somehow you take a look and you're like, why did I think that team was going to pull out an upset? Yeah. So somehow in my delusions of grandeur, I somehow figured Carolina was going to, keep their train rolling and the Bills was going to lose 3 straight and James Cook was having none of it. So Buffalo on offense is scary when James Cook goes off. Because you got Josh Allen passing, Josh Allen running, and James Cook running. And when you can move the ball 3 different ways, that's a problem for defenses. So yeah, and the Bills defense showed up. They shut down Carolina's running game. And when I heard Andy Dalton was playing, I had to that's not the same Andy Dalton from back in the day with the Bengals. He's been with Carolina for the last, I think, 4 years now. But it's one of those things where I almost forget Andy Dalton's still in the league.
Yeah.
So it's Andy Dalton's 37 now. There are quarterbacks who've played into the 30s and 40s, but this ain't young Andy Dalton. So give me Bryce Young over Andy Dalton.
Any day.
So yeah. So you got the backup quarterback for Carolina going up against the Bills defense with the team that got something to prove and 40-9, 60 minutes later. Hopefully Young comes back soon so they could try to have a semblance of a balanced attack. Because I think it was Andy Dalton next week. It's going to be probably more of the same, where you're going to stop the run and dare them to throw knowing they can't throw. So
yeah, I picked the Bills in this one. I didn't see it, especially and I did know that it was a high chance that he was going to end up starting this game because Bryce Young, up until that point when we were picking, he hadn't practiced all week. It is scary on the Bills side. It's almost as if James Cook told Josh Allen, you could just take the day off, right? 12 of 19, 163 yards and a touchdown. That's all Josh Allen had to do to put up 40 points. So to that end, I think with this Bills team, I think they are definitely more well-rounded than we give them credit for. They have a lot of tools, right? A lot of skilled players that can help take the load off of Josh. It doesn't all have to go on him to win these games. And as long as James Cook stays healthy, I think that's going to keep them balanced enough to be able to make a run. Now, we're going to see what's going to happen next week when they play the Chiefs. That's going to be, to me, that's the game of the week. That is the game of the week next, this coming week. So with that said, Josh Allen may have to kind of put on his cape for that game, and we get to see him go up against Mahomes and let the fireworks start. But for this game, I didn't think the Panthers had a chance, even though they were playing at home, even though they did have Dowdle and I think the problem there too, guys, is that Hubbard is back, Chuba Hubbard, and because they're paying him top dollar, I feel like they feel that they have to insert him and give him carries. For me, if I'm the coach and I'm seeing what Dowdle is doing, there's no way Hubbard is going to be carrying equal carries with Dowdle, especially what he showed the week before, where it doesn't seem like he was able to get much yards, right? Especially after contact. Dowdle would be the main carrier going forward for me, as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah.
To that point, Lee, Hubbard had 12 carries, 34 yards, 2.8 yards a carry, 1 touchdown. Rico
Right.
Dowdle had 8 carries, 54 yards, 6.8 yards a carry with a long of 24.
Why?
Yeah.
He should not be with lesser carries than.
Yeah. Definitely not. Yeah. So in this next game, Lee, I know you like this one, San Francisco 49ers. And you would pick the Houston. I picked the 49ers. I thought the 49ers were gonna go in there and beat Houston, but it looked like Houston's offensive line held up for CJ Stroud. And he threw for over 300 and some yards. What was it? He was 30 for 39, 318 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. So they held up for him, man. And when his line can hold up for him, he can pick you apart, I like D'Amico Ryans as a coach. I didn't think they were going to win the game. I think they're, again, even though they won this game, I still think they're kind of still one of those helter-skelter teams. But hey, it was good for him to win as well. I mean, CJ Stroud put together a good game. 49ers, again, what can you say? I mean, Mac Jones, 19 of 293 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Okay. I just thought they were going to win. I thought they were going to stay on that hot streak that they were on, but that comes to a halt, and the Texans take the win. So the Texans are 3-4 now. San Francisco's 5-3. So Lee, where does that put San Fran in the standings in your division now?
They're third for right now because they're 5-3. Seattle and the Rams are at the top at 5-2. So
Gotcha.
49ers, they played more games, but the winning percentage is lower now.
I gotcha. Yeah. So I definitely thought San Fran was gonna continue on that little streak where they was on, but who knows? This is how the end. That's why you play the games, man. So congrats to Houston with the win.
No, man. Yeah, it is interesting to see CJ Stroud have a 2023 CJ Stroud like game, right? Like, oh yeah, she was a good quarterback. And that the Houston Texans defense was able to bottle up San Fran's offense. Christian McCaffrey only had 8 carries for 25 yards. All right. And Mac Jones didn't have a great game, but decent, 1932, 193, touchdowns, 1 interception. I'm speaking almost for Lee here. One of those, finally the MASH unit it finally caught up to them. Where everybody hurt and still they just plugging in people and they still carrying on like ain't nothing happened. And finally it's like, oh yes, okay. They played like a team with a bunch of injuries against another team and lost the game. I'm not sure. I think we know where San Fran is. I don't know if this is a turnaround for Houston or just one of those, we got San Fran on a bad day with a bunch of injuries and their 2 defensive players out and we called a good game against them and this is what we got, right? Because they still got a deal in their division with the Indianapolis Colts. So, and there's a lot of good teams in the AFC, so if they're trying to get back into the hunt for a potential 6th or 7th seed, you got the Ravens and a bunch of other teams trying to claw their way back, Patriots, etc. So, anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be fair. I think Houston just caught the Niners on a bad day. Injuries included, right? You look at the recipe that they used to win this game. Stroud was 30 of 39. That's difficult to reproduce and to keep consistent game over game. 318 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The running game was still, less to be desired. They were committed to it between Chubb and Woody Marks, I think is his name, right?
Yeah.
They had about 28 attempts rushing, no rushing touchdowns, but they did keep the 49er defense honest, which you should do regardless. That being said, in watching some of the snippets of the game, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did catch, I think, the last half of it. Stroud was doing a good job getting the ball out. He wasn't holding on to the ball too long, and if he did, he kind of moved within the pocket to avoid the rush. You also have to understand, too, the rush for the 49ers is depleted, right? There's no Bosa, Warner's out, they're missing guys, right? They don't really have a good pass rush anymore. So that's catching up with them at this point. That being said, I don't know in terms of Houston's ability to make it to the playoffs. They're not going to catch up with the Colts. That's not going to happen. Barring some sort of like traumatic situation on the Colts side, injuries and whatnot, like the Colts they're full steam ahead. They're good. And then so Houston can only possibly look at a wild card. And then you've got all these teams right now in the AFC that's in the hunt. I just don't see them being able to do it. So I think this is, like I said, this is just a situation where they're catching the 49ers on that downward trajectory swing based off of the culmination of all of these injuries and maybe just having a bad day as well. So yeah, but I'm very happy with this outcome. I'm ecstatic. Like, this was a good game. It was very enjoyable. And I love the outcome.
Yeah, I figured you would like this one. I figured this would be a good one for you, man.
This was my game of the week. This was my game of the week.
I knew it, man. Look here. I think it's time for Shedeur. It's time for Shedeur Sanders, man. The Cleveland Browns lose to New England Patriots 32-13. And Drake May is looking good. You know, I picked the Patriots in this game to win it. I know Cleveland's defense was going to be tough. Myles Garrett with 5 sacks, man. 5 sacks in the game, Myles Garrett. You know, he's clearly frustrated, slamming his helmet on the side. You know, he doesn't like to lose. And I know he wants to say this. He wants to say this, but politically he's not going to say it. He wants Shedeur Sanders in that game. He wants Shedeur Sanders behind center. And I think more than enough players also want Shedeur Sanders behind center. Don't get me wrong. I think Dylan Gabriel has his facet of teammates that, you know, they like him. But I think it's time for a shakeup here. It's time for something to happen. What else can you do? Well, I mean, at this point, what else? Dylan Gabriel, we've seen you for a couple games. All right, I say put Shedeur Sanders in there. Let him do. Hey, maybe this invigorates the team. They excited to play behind Shedeur. Shedeur hits, get it going. I don't know if they win the game, but I think it's going to change morale. It's going to change something on the team, and I think that needs to happen because from what I'm looking at and what I'm seeing, this seems. I don't know. I could be wrong. Guys. But it just seems like this is intentional. They're holding Shedeur back. How in the world does the backup quarterback not get any first team reps? How? That just doesn't even make sense. Every backup quarterback gets a small amount of first team reps, but he gets 0. This just seems intentional to me. I could be wrong, but look, give Shedeur Sanders an opportunity to just get in the game. Let's see what happens. Switch it around. But Myles Garrett is absolutely frustrated. He wants to say this, but he doesn't want to cause extra drama on the team at this point. So, hey, in Cleveland, I don't know what they're gonna do, but Stefanski, it's time to make a change. That's where I'm gonna leave this.
So you can't have your cake and eat it too. Myles Garrett put this thing out talking about how he don't want to go from Cleveland straight to Canton. He wants some rings, and it's been real. But I want to go to a team that's trying. How much? 4 for $160. I've always loved orange. this is a wonderful city and wonderful fans. The dog pound is awesome. And then, 8 games in, slamming helmets. Man, we ain't winning. We ain't winning. Well, you
Hey,
knew.
Doc,
Yeah.
he knew what he signed up for. That's
He
why
knew.
there's no sympathy. He knew
Yeah,
what
he
he
knew.
signed up for.
He knew. He knew. We knew that he knew, and he knew that we knew that he knew. So that is what it is, right? I the and let me give the Patriots credit. Drake May's playing well, efficient football. Henderson and Stevenson, and they're making some in these plays now with the receiving core, and it's like it reminds me of somewhat back in the day with Belichick, where like the sum is greater than the parts. That they got this team thing, and they're running the ball, they're passing the ball, the quarterback's playing well, and it's like there's no one outside of Drake May that you would actually want to trade someone on your skill positions for their skill positions, but they win in games. Right? Testament to Vrabel, etc. With Cleveland, when I say I don't get it, it is unless you're trying to organically tank as much as you can and not put in someone that you think might help the team out to get someone to replace the person that you think you could win with if you play him. So you're not going to play him to lose games, to pick someone, and then you're back in the same position now with 2 decent quarterbacks. Like it doesn't make sense. I don't know what the end game is. I don't know if this is RG3 and Kirk Cousins, but like the bad version of it. Like it just don't make sense that you're not going to give the backup reps, or you're actually may potentially have the third stringer jump the backup without the backup getting into a game, though you spent a 5th round pick on him, but you want to see what someone else can do over the guy. Yeah. So, but it's Cleveland, and I can get away with just saying that, and like it makes enough sense that I could just say that and walk away, but it don't. And truth be told, I'm not the biggest Shador Sanders fan. I want to see what he can do, but I don't think he's God's gift to football. I don't think he's going to come in there and Jackson Dart it, right? I think he's going to more likely have Peyton Manning's first year or Troy Aikman's first year than what Jackson Dart's been doing or Jaden Daniels has been doing. But it's sort of like y'all seem to be trying to handcuff the dude. Why'd you draft him? So yeah, so like I don't get it, but it's Cleveland. So
yeah, I still don't understand why they drafted him. And the way that they're using him, it just doesn't make any sense. That being said, what are they doing? They're tanking. They're not trying to win any games. If you give up a quarterback that you deemed as your starting quarterback at the beginning of the season to a division rival,
the rival,
the rival, right? That is a position of need for them. So you help them out, right? Like make it make sense. They got 2 first-round picks next year. They're not concerned about this season. They are not concerned about this season. They got 2 first-round picks next year. They're trying to position themselves, right, as well as they possibly can to take advantage of those picks, both of those picks. Theirs, and I don't know who else's they have, but they want to make sure at least they can control what they can control to get as high a pick as they possibly can. That's what I see going on here. And they probably do believe that Shador does give them the best chance to win some games. And they don't want that. They don't want to win some games. They want to win unless they feel like they can actually make a real legitimate, which they probably don't feel that they can do. They're not going to win anything, or they're trying not to win anything. I think they got to bye this week. And then the following week after that, they play the Jets, which is the only team getting in their way right now. Right? The only team getting in their way of getting that first overall pick is the team that they're going to be playing next. So I'm going to be curious
that's going
to
to be
see
game of the week.
Yeah, that's
how
gonna be the real game of the week.
how that
right
game
there.
goes. Yeah.
Hey, I throw my hands up on that one.
And just the way the football gods have it, this season they are doing their best to organically tank. Is the college football season where like ain't no one looking amazing coming out.
No one.
Which was surprising because at the beginning of the season, it was like, this is the year to tank. They got so many great quarterbacks coming out, so many great players, and like halfway, 2/3 through the season, it's like, man, just get a bunch of names, put it in a hat, pick out a name. Yeah, we'll take this person because ain't no one standing out.
Yeah. And I know this is going to be a topic for probably the end of the season, Links. Doc, you're right. But before, at the beginning of this season, especially at the beginning of the college football season, I'm on record of saying I think there were about 6 quarterbacks that I feel that were lock in. They were locked first round quarterbacks.
Me too. Yep.
All 6 of those quarterbacks have been disappointments. Right? I was salivating because the Rams also have 2 first round picks. And now I'm saying, boy, I wonder if Stafford could stick around a couple more years. Couple more years. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
Yeah. Well, you just keep rolling, man. This is what this thing looked like. You never know. Somebody might crop up. You never know. Hey, but just like you have rookie quarterbacks, and we talked about Jackson Dart. New York Giants traveled to Philadelphia to play my Eagles, and man, look. Hey, first of all, I must say this. In all seriousness, my prayers go out to Scatterboo, man. Yeah, my prayers go out to him for sure. Because if you saw that, I don't know if you saw it, but I was looking at it, and I couldn't even look at it again. I mean, oh man, that I'm just talking about it, just crawling my flesh right now. But so prayers go out to him. I know he had surgery and to get that ankle fixed. So, obviously he's done for the season. I know him and Jackson Dart had a connection there, really, and he was, the surprise running back, the lead that we talked about that I think was going to make some noise, and continue making some noise in the league. But he's down, he's out. So with that being said, I knew this was going to happen. I mean, this there's no surprise here, man. Come on, man. There's no way the Eagles were gonna lose to these dudes 2 times in a row. It was just unfathomable, never gonna happen. So Jalen Hurts had a phenomenal game, 4 touchdowns, man, just looking good. AJ Brown was out, and Devontae Smith was just putting on a clinic. I mean, this dude's route running is like phenomenal. The DBs would be stuck on this dude, and just how my gosh, I think Amina Kimes did a something on Devontae Smith this week, and she just went through a couple of his routes. And this dude is so fluent. I love Devontae Smith, man, and how he runs routes. Phenomenal. We didn't skip a beat. We didn't miss a beat. I know AJ was looking at this, and we didn't miss a beat at all. Saquon Barkley, finally, they get the running game on track, right? They get the running game on track, and they were calling the right plays. The offensive line did their thing, and not only one, but we had 2 running backs over 100 yards. Tank Bigsby also goes for over 107 yards on the Giants. And this is the Eagles. This is the people better watch out, right? Because if we continue with this right here, it's gonna be a nightmare. It's gonna be a nightmare. I'm telling you, it's not gonna be happy. It's not gonna be happy for a lot of teams. So we getting this thing rolling, man. And I was just excited to see this. I mean, look, I knew this was gonna happen. Lee, I think you even mentioned before this game, and you reminded me. Jalen Carter in this game came, I mean, right off the bat, Jalen Carter, with pressure up the middle, with that pick 6 to Jalix Hunt. So look, my Eagles, this is what we do, man. We on a bye week coming up this week, so I'm gonna be watching the games, enjoying it. But this was good to go into the bye 6-2, feeling good. Getting these things right, headed into the last stretch of the season.
So we know the Eagles got lucky, right? They playing a divisional opponent. Scottaboo gets hurt. the emotional heart and soul of the Giants, and that's it, right? Like they deflated, and then all of a sudden, like there was just no fight left in the Giants, right? And then, you did what you got to do. Like, I applaud the Eagles, but a neutral field, it'd be totally different. Totally different. Scatterable players is totally different, right?
Do say the Eagles are back?
We back, man. Back.
No,
What's up?
jokes aside, right? Jokes aside, it is scary when you got two wide receivers and a great running back, and one's out. And it's like, hey, if we can stop the run and double team the other wide receiver, we should have a chance, right? Like, they can't hit us three different ways. They can hit us two ways. So let's stop the run, double team the receiver, and we should be good. And two running backs go for over 100 yards each, and the receiver got 6 catches for 84 yards. So, yeah, like, you can't even do it when it was simplified, right? And, Daboll's not a defensive guy, and it showed. But, yeah, I mean, hopefully Scatterboo recovers 100%, comes back next season, and now the Giants, got a quarterback and a running back, and let's see if they can build. Sheen, I got to give Joe Sheen credit. I can't believe I'm saying it, where his first round picks tend to hit and the second round picks tend to hit. But can they build the line to make things go on offense? Can they get those diamonds in the rough, those 4th and 5th and 6th rounders? He doesn't miss on the first rounders, by and large. But can they build the team down the road? But yeah, the Eagles did what the Eagles had to do. And then some. There you go.
I think the refs they switching sides, right?
Oh.
The refs they was wearing for the longest they was wearing Chiefs jerseys, right? They had Eagle jerseys on this game. You watched the game, Links? Did you watch the whole game?
Yeah, I watched the
whole game.
The whole game. I went back and watched it.
Okay.
That first part. Yeah.
There was about 21 points the refs gave you guys, man. Right? 21. That's for my estimate. About 21 points they gave you. You had the push tush where remarkably there was a phantom whistle blown when my man stripped the ball out of Kurt's hands.
Forward progress.
Right? They call forward progress. Whereas when you guys pushing and push, they never stop. They never blow the whistle then. But the minute the ball came out of his hand and it was on the ground, that's when they blew the whistle. When the ball was on the ground, they blew the whistle and called forward progress. I had never seen nothing like that before in my life. Never seen nothing like that before in my life. So that was one. Then you had another one when your guy, I don't know the offensive lineman, but he had a false start and they called it on the Giants. And then the very next play, you guys scored a touchdown. Okay. And then the other one was when they threw that strike to Slayton. You had Quintana Mobay, right? Trying just pull in and had moment like Doc when they pull in so hard they pull that undershirt out of the jersey and you can see the string from it, right? So he pulling and grabbing. They call offensive pass interference. What? So look, you're back, okay? You're back, and then on top of all of that, Scatterboo, you had the unfortunate injury. So all of that had to go into play, right? For you guys, to win by a little 18 points. So if you feel good about that, if that make you feel good, more power to you.
Hey, I'm good,
more power
man.
to you.
I'm good. I feel good. Hey, look, let me tell you. Look, now you know how it is, man. You know how it is in the NFL. These plays. You can have this could have easily went the other way. It could have went either way.
Not with them refs. Not with the refs.
No,
the refs made sure it couldn't go the other way.
Come on, man.
Stop it.
Gino.
Stop it.
That was a blatant push off by Slayton, man. Slayton pushed off. Now, I don't get me wrong, Quinyon Mitchell did pull at the end, but that was after the push off. He was trying to catch back up. And so, now the one call that I would
say,
to
catch back up, all right.
He's trying to catch back up, man. But the one call with Jalen going over there, yeah. I mean, look, hey, I'll take it all day long. I'll take it if you let it go. I'm taking it. But hey, That's how I go in the NFL, man. We'll take these, we'll go with it, and we'll roll on, man. I definitely will take the win. But yeah, regardless, Giants wasn't going to win the game anyway. It didn't.
Yeah, the refs made sure of that. I agree with you.
Get out these refs.
The refs is that when them fancy Bullops poker matches or something, man. Maybe still.
Yeah. Well, all right. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveled to the New Orleans Saints. This was a division game, and look, no surprise here. Really, the Saints. I didn't expect much from the Saints. I had picked Tampa Bay in this game. I didn't expect much from the Saints. I know the Saints, like I think I said that Kellen Moore didn't have all his. This is the first season. He don't have any picks, anything like that. He got to put things together. So I know Tampa Bay, they're 6-2, one of the leaders in the NFC. We'll see how things continue to go with Tampa Bay. I know they got a lot of injuries, but as long as they got Baker Mayfield and they got Emeka Ibuka, they're always going to be in it, and they're going to get Bucky Irvin back pretty soon. So I think they'll be fine. They'll be good. They'll win the NFC South for sure. I know that. New Orleans, it's just right now. New Orleans is just not gonna. They're not gonna do anything. So yeah, this wasn't a surprise for me. There's nothing much I could say about this game. I just think Tampa Bay just took it to them and did what they were supposed to do. This was expected down there, and
I think this was more of the Saints being the Saints than Tampa Bay being Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay comes in with some injuries, but they're playing the Saints. Spencer Rattler, I think he's like, in terms of like last year and this year, something like 1-12, I think, as a starter or something crazy like that. Right?
Yeah.
And
so there's one win.
They plan to go with Tyler Shough to see what Shough will do. They're good. They're gonna hope for a Jackson Dart like spark, I guess. Though he didn't really do that much in the second half. The game
30 attempts.
Tampa Bay.
So 30 attempts. Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, what has happened to Alvin Kamara, right? Like, you almost forget Alvin Kamara's on the team, and then he had like six carries for 21 yards. Yeah. So we should be patient with Kellen Moore. Hopefully they'll get better talent at other positions to make the Saints relevant. But it's sort of I don't think New Orleans is organically tanking. I think they're just not a good team. They're just not a good team right now. And so they ain't trying to finagle stuff to try to work their way to the bottom. They're just not a good team right now, and see what the future holds for them. If nothing else, Tampa Bay didn't wet the bed. They were going to play against a bad team, and they did what they had to do, even with some injuries on the team. So they got that under control. So
yeah, I think Doc really said it all. Nothing really much to expound on it. Saints aren't good. Kellen Moore, he needs another off season to kind of put this together and put his guys in the right pieces to fit a scheme. And on the Bucs side, even with the injuries and even with underperforming, by statistically, they still pulled it out, and they should have. So that being said, looking forward to see what Shough could do, even though, again, in this game, he actually had more passing attempts than Rattler. But one could also say he didn't really have a full week of first-round reps. So give him another week of practice, see what happens next week, and maybe, hopefully, he has a better showing. But from my estimation, when I look at the skill set of Shough and Rattler, I don't see much of a difference between those two quarterbacks. They look like the exact same person. So I don't expect to see nothing spectacular. I don't expect to see, as you said, a Jackson Dart type of injection into the offense. I think this is going to be another team that's going to, next year in the draft, they're going to be looking for a quarterback.
Yeah.
All right. That being said, also, the offensive coordinator for the Saints, his son, is the starting quarterback for LSU. And I think he's projected to be a first rounder. So that would be interesting to see if something like that actually materializes.
That would be interesting if it does. Yeah. See how that works. This next game, again, this was not a shocker for me. Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts. Wasn't a shocker. 38-14. Indianapolis Colts continue to roll. They're 7-1. The best team in the NFL at this point. What I'm seeing, they're putting things together. Steichen has everything rolling with these guys. Daniel Jones is 9 lives after the Giants, looking really good. Cam Ward, look, I mean, Cam Ward just doesn't have anybody around him. I always watch ESPN, seeing what these guys are saying, and people are blaming Cam Ward. What do you want him to do? He had 259 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Look, the team just has to get better. You on your interim coach. You just got to get better all around, and that's why that's why they had the first pick in the draft. So, I think Cam Ward's going to be fine. I just think they just need the pieces. So again, this is got to build that team. I don't know about the ownership and what it looks like there in Tennessee, but definitely, hopefully in the offseason they could do something. That's another team right now 1-7. So, whoever's looking for that, and I don't think they're tanking. I just think they're not good. So yeah. Anyway, hats off to the Colts. They're looking good. This part of the season is going to be very interesting. These next 3-4 games with some of these top teams like the Colts are going to be very interesting. I think this is where now you're going to see the real juggernauts from the pretenders, and you're going to see who's going to start stepping forward and making that playoff run and getting things together. So we'll see over the next couple of weeks, but Indianapolis Colts, they continue to roll against Tennessee Titans. No surprise there.
So I'm not going to say much about the Colts. We know about the Colts. They roll in. Except that, you look at the Titans, number 1 pick, quarterback seems to be struggling, right? But it's like Peyton Manning struggled his first year. A whole bunch of interceptions. Troy Aikman went 1-15 his first year. Then you put talent around them and things turn around. Well, the dude wants to win. He seems to be putting in the work. He's cussing out the interim head coach because there's like a 4th and 1 or a 4th and 2, and they decided to punt. And it's like, what are we punting for? Like, we won and whatever. Let's go for broke. Let's at least try to do something. So the guy's comparative. He wants to win. The owner is Amy Adams Strunk, the daughter of Bud Adams, old school Bud Adams, right? And my point being, you draft this quarterback, and then within 8 games, you fire the head coach. So now there's an interim head coach, was Mike McCoy, who didn't do much when he was a head coach. So I don't think he's likely to get the interim removed, come to off season. So your number 1 pick starting quarterback is going to have played for 3 head coaches his 18th game of the season. Well, 18th game, first game next season. Well, I played for 3 different head coaches, which likely means 3 different offensive coordinators. Because I'm not sure they kept the same guy calling plays that was calling plays before, right? And it's like, how you expect the guy to get good when it's not just the players, but the philosophy, the offensive schemes constantly changing, right? And it just amazes me that some of these teams don't think it through and try to align quarterback and head coach and GM at the same time, so the synergy. And everything just keeps on shifting, and there's never any continuity to kind of build the momentum. But yeah, and he doesn't have Tony Pollard's the best skilled position player he's got, and we'll see what happens. But it's going to be a lot more of this for the rest of the season for Cam Newton and the Titans.
Yeah, I'm not going to expound too much more on this as well. But first, on the Titans side, they need to start looking for their coach for next season, right? This season is a wash. And I agree, they're not tanking. There's no reason to tank. They have their franchise quarterback. The only reason you should be tanking is if you're trying to get a franchise quarterback, and they got that, so they're good. And they got the type of quarterback where he doesn't need a lot of hand-holding, right? So they don't really need some sort of boy genius or some genius offensive coordinator to come in. They just need someone to come in that knows how to run a team, okay? So they just need to go out there and get Robert Saleh one time. Just get him. Just go on. Get Robert Saleh, bring him in there, and all will be well. Okay. That being said, on the Colts side,
I see what you did there.
I'm trying to
No,
hold a
I
straight
mean, look,
face.
I know he was going
I'm
that
trying
way.
to hold a straight face.
I know he was going
But I
there.
mean, look, but I'm serious though. Robert Saleh would be a great fit, right? And he X's and O's like across the board, all three phases. He's good. Anyway, on the Colts side, I just want to make this one petition. Jonathan Taylor continues to perform the way he's performing, and he doesn't win MVP, something is deathly wrong.
Yeah, something got to be.
I haven't seen a running back dominate, like getting this many touchdowns each game since Sean Alexander, right? And I think Sean Alexander, that season, but 30 rushing touchdowns, something like that.
He was killing it.
If he continues on this trajectory and continues to perform, like, did you see that 65-yard run?
Crazy.
Right? The two DBs, they had the angle.
Yeah.
And anyway, so if he continues this, all I know is he better win MVP. I don't want another quarterback. There's no quarterback performing at a higher level than him right now. So I'm hoping that he stays healthy. I'm hoping that he continues. I would love to see finally a running back. The last one was with Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Adrian Peter, AP, yeah.
It's time. It's time.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Go ahead, Doc.
No, to some degree, would have been nice to see Saquon get it last year.
Yeah.
But Jonathan
Agreed.
Taylor's doing some amazing stuff this year.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And getting back to what you was talking about with, the Titans, and they got their quarterback, and if only they had like a head coach who ain't got to be a boy genius, just knows how to coach a team. You could imagine if you had someone like Mike Vrabel. Wouldn't that be amazing? If the Tennessee, they did have Mike Vrabel. Okay, yeah,
that's a good point.
Our bad. Let's move on.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Doc. That's a good point.
Right?
That is a good. Let me ask you this question: the owner, was she also the owner? Like, did she just walk into that?
No, I think she's been there for a few years.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think she's been there.
And the reason why I brought that up, guys, is we're looking at what's happening to the. Really?
Yeah, that's a long.
So yeah, so nothing's going to change, because the reason why I brought that up is we're looking at the Colts, and we all talk about this, guys, like organizational change that has to happen from the top, right? And I'm not speaking ill of the dead or nothing like that, but I'm just Jim Irsay, after he, his demise, his daughter comes in, now all of a sudden, right? Organization is clicking.
Yeah,
they're clicking from the top down.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a coincidence.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Fresh new outlook, fresh new, everything. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
No impediment. Let people do their jobs, right?
Yeah. Definitely, man. Speaking of ownership that continues to get in the way, the Dallas Cowboys.
Nice.
Hey,
nice.
Jerry's world, man. Look, hey Lee, you say your game this was the game of the week for me. This was the game of the week. The Denver Broncos, man, roll over the Dallas Cowboys. Let me tell you this. Look, Dak Prescott. Everybody was saying Dak Prescott is going. He's the MVP caliber. Dak Prescott is going to win. He's this. He's that. Stop it. I want you to stop it right now. Because when he goes up against any team that has a semblance of a defense, he cannot win. He does not win. He throws interceptions in times when the Dallas Cowboys remind me of the Atlanta Falcons. All right. This is what they do to their fans. They give their fans hope one week, and then the next week they come back to reality. And that's what the Dallas Cowboys are going to give you time after time after time again. And I enjoy it. I love it. It's great. It's great to see. I'd love to see it, man. Because, out of all the talk every year, Dallas Cowboys always going to the Super Bowl. They're always going to win it. But as long as Jerry Jones is there, and unfortunately, as long as Dak Prescott is there, when it comes pressure, and this shouldn't even been any pressure. This just should have been like y'all just going in there playing, man. But look, he just couldn't do it. The Denver Broncos had him. They had a good scheme. And look, I don't even like Sean Payton. So this is the 1 week that I like Sean Payton. Only 1 week, and it was only because they was going against the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm back to now not liking Sean Payton. But thank you, Sean Payton, and your Denver Broncos for doing what you're supposed to do and taking care. However, Dak was going to give you the game anyway. So, look, Denver Broncos did their thing. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sean Payton.
Looking back over the course of the weekend, there was a lot of stuff I got wrong. This was not one I got wrong. This one I got right. I figured it would be a really good matchup for the Dallas Cowboys offense against the Denver Broncos defense, right? And I'm gonna throw the Joe Milton touchdown towards the end out of it. You could be like, Dallas only scored 17, or the Broncos gave up 17 points. However you want to look at it, right? The issue is, it was the Dallas Cowboys defense against the Denver Broncos offense on the other side. And boy, they had Bo Nix looking good. 19 for 29, 247, 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns. I mean, yeah, the game Dallas had last week when they was playing a whole bunch of man because Washington had 3 receivers out, that was the aberration, right? They went back to playing some zone, and folks don't really seem to understand how zone defenses work. So the receiver goes, and the guy goes with him, and the other receiver comes, and dude just wide open. And it is interesting to hear the team owner / president / general manager essentially say, we're not one player away. We would need to get multiple players on defense to try to make a move. He didn't rule out making the move. He just said it's going to need to be at least more than one guy. They're not one player away, right? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of, when I say misfit, you had Dan Quinn 2 years ago. He ran a lot more man. Defense was playing well. You brought in Zimmer, new defense, more zone. Things didn't work for the first half of the season. You bring in Eberflus. He plays more zone. You still got the same type of the defensive backs. They don't know what they're doing with the zone. I don't know why the GM's bringing in zone-minded defensive coaches when the personnel fits better for man. But the coaches used to be coaches with the Cowboys, and Jerry's loyal to a fault. If he's comfortable with you, he'll bring you back. And so you got zone safeties, man-to-man safeties trying to play zone against sophisticated NFL offenses, and this is what you get. So it's not going to get any better for the rest of the season. And I honestly don't think it's going to be better next season, because Eberflus, I think, is a good coach. He just good defensive coordinator. But the personnel don't fit what he want to do. And
yeah, I got this one wrong. So I did pick them. Let's see here. I'm surprised. I'm not going to lie to you. I am surprised. They had Bo Nix looking like he was Drew Brees, right? That's one. Like, it literally looked like Drew Brees was back there. And then I thought that, especially when Patrick Surtain went out, that Dak was going to be able to really capitalize. And because I think the other guy, what's his name? Scott or Moss was the other corner. And I thought, okay, he was going to get lit up. But I think what they did was they took Surtain. Initially, they had Surtain shadowing Pickens. And they were doubling CeeDee Lamb. Good strategy. It worked, obviously. Even when Surtain went out, it's still like they still found a way to make that defense contain those receivers, which, again, totally surprised me. Didn't expect that. That being said, to you guys' point, it's the Cowboys. And Lynx, you said it. I think the Cowboys, there's a little bit of like Falcons in them, where they, right when you think they're gonna do what they're supposed to do, they disappoint you. So they got next. They got the Cardinals next, and then the Raiders. I could see them winning those 2 games, but then they got the Eagles after that and the Chiefs, and that's it. That's it after that. So they got 2 more weeks to try to get something going. After that, I think it's going to go downhill.
Yeah. I don't see anything happening for them. And even in these next 2 weeks, I promise you they lose one of those. I promise you. They're gonna lose one of those.
Yeah, and then even after the Chiefs, they got the Lions.
Yeah. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, it's over for them. Definitely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
look, in this next game, I'm trying to remember who I picked. I didn't write it down. I didn't. I'm trying to remember this one. This is Green Bay, Pittsburgh, and I know Aaron Rodgers wanted his revenge and didn't get it. He was looking good at first. He was looking real good at first. You know, he was doing his thing. He was happy. You know, slinging it around and then doing his thing. And then Jordan Love, you know, just you know, continue to play, you know, and people are saying Jordan Love, I mean, 360 yards, you know, 3 touchdowns. Was looking good. I think, Lee, you had mentioned this when we were talking. His receiver came back, Christian, what's his name?
Watson.
Yeah, Christian Watson. Yeah, he came back. And I think that was a big difference for them. Really opening things up on the offense, you know, and helping Jordan Love out. I still think that, you know, even though they're the top team in the NFC from a record standpoint, I don't think they're the top team, you know, all around team, Green Bay, that is. And so we'll see again over the next couple of weeks. I think, you know, Eagles, we got them in a couple of weeks, you know, so it's coming up. Like I say, this period right here, these next 3-4 games right here is going to shake up a lot of things, you know, in both conferences, AFC and NFC. But you know, old man didn't get his revenge, and Jordan Love, you know, takes it to the guy who was trying to hold out from him playing, and now he's leading Green Bay and beats this guy, and you know, stick it to him, man. Stick it to him. I was good to see that. Yeah, I was happy to see that. Stick it to him. I didn't want him to win anyway. So yeah, Jordan Love, you know, win this game, man. Thank you for showing old man what time it is. Look, old man didn't have a bad game either. 219 yards, you know, 2 TDs. However, you know, you didn't need to win. So kudos. Good for Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers.
What Aaron do to you, man? I still don't understand. What
Aaron is a grouchy old man.
You
need to stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I had picked Pittsburgh, but I was torn because it's like, do I cheer for the dude who made my team's life hell for like 10 years? Or do I cheer for the team that he did it with over those 10 years? Right. And I had figured.
That's a conundrum.
Yep.
That's a conundrum.
Yep. Can't win for losing. I figured he was going to have his revenge game against Green Bay, and he played a decent game. I just didn't factor in that Jordan Love was seeing this as a revenge game against Aaron, right? From back in the day where it's like, oh, you got picked by the Green Bay Packers. This like the next day. Have you talked with Aaron Rodgers yet? No, he hasn't called, but I'm sure he's a swell guy, right? Jordan Love doing all the politically correct stuff. And we know Aaron, so I'm sure they probably talked 3 sentences during the 2 years or 3 years they was together in Green Bay. And it's like, okay, let me let you know why they moved on from you to me. And I am trying my best to remove my disdain for the Packers when I say this. When Jordan Love has good games, like he looks amazing, but he's not as of yet consistent with it. And it's like, you don't know what Jordan Love you're going to get. And they've got a bunch of really good receivers. I don't think they've got a legit number 1, but they've got a bunch of 4-2s. And so I don't see the receivers dominating, but they've got you got 4 or 5 options easy, right? So I don't trust it. Like when it works great. And then sometimes you're like, where'd it go? So, but yeah, they had it that night, and he was on and looking great, and hats off to them for the win. But even with the 5-1-1, I don't trust it. And I know it might come back to burn me, but I don't trust it. So I don't as of yet, I don't trust Jordan Love to be the guy. I think he can have his plays, but I don't trust him yet to be the guy wearing the cape game after game, put it on my shoulders, let me go get it. I don't think he's...
Yeah, I'm with you on that as well. I know they have the best record in the NFC, and I don't know. I don't trust it either. One of the quietest, I think, top teams that we have right now are the Packers. And Jordan Love, he hasn't been consistent. And we have to also remember that the Achilles heel for the Packers right now is their defensive backs. They don't have a good core. They have Ramsey, but we all know Ramsey is older, much older, right, for a corner. And outside of him, I know we have Joey Porter, but I believe the pundits say, or the analysts say, that they're not playing in the right scheme. So whatever that scheme is that they're playing, it doesn't play to the strength of their DBs, and their DBs have been getting eaten up all season to this point. So it doesn't surprise me that Jordan Love had his best game of the season in this game. Is it going to translate? I don't think so. I think it's going to come back down to earth. But I think LaFleur is a good coach. He's shown that he's a good regular season coach. And so I expect him to have a pretty good regular season, a pretty good record, go into the playoffs and be one and done again. Because at the end of the day, when they get into the playoffs and it comes down to, hey, we need to start smashing heads, dominate the line of scrimmage, yada, 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 I don't think they're going to be able to do that. And they haven't shown to me that that is in their skill set of things to do on both sides of the ball. They got some sexy picks. They got Micah Parsons. Yeah, I can go ahead and I can, rush the quarterback. I don't know if they can stop the run efficiently. I don't know if they can pass consistently. And then their running game with Jacobs, he seems to be dinged up. I don't think that's going to carry forward, going over the remainder of the season. So good win, but we'll see what happens later in the season for them.
Yep. If Jaden Daniels was playing in this Monday night game against Kansas City, this would definitely have been a different game. But you got Marcus Mariota, man. When this game started off, I was like, okay, Patrick Mahomes threw a pick. Okay, Marcus Mariota throws a pick. Okay, Patrick Mahomes throws another pick. Okay, here we go. Look, the Kansas City Chiefs was giving it to the Commanders. Go ahead and win the game, man. Y'all win. Get some momentum and win. But the Commanders are old on defense, and Marcus Lattimore. Look, he's okay, but he's not the answer. And Bobby Wagner, again, he's been around for a while. Their defense is suspect, the Commanders. And so, Kansas City carved them up, man. I mean, Patrick Mahomes started off slow. Patrick and Taylor started off slow, but it just they got it together finally, and they went on a run. It was a pretty easy game, smooth sailing after that first quarter. Great catch by Terry McLaurin coming back in the corner. That was a really, really great catch. He's going to be back. He's healthy, looking good. So when Jaden Daniels come back, then you could kind of really say, but it may be a little too late for them. They may make a little run. I know they'll beat the Cowboys, but it may be just a little bit too late for the Commanders to make another run in the playoffs. They may make the playoffs. I don't know, but look, it's just last night. Without Jaden Daniels, they just couldn't stand up to the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs are rolling and they're getting back to it, but like Doc said earlier, the next few games for the Kansas City Chiefs is going to really, this is going to be interesting. I want to see this. I definitely want to see this. So Commanders, hey, it is what it is. This is not going to be their season. They got injuries, and Jaden Daniels can't put on the cape and save you this time, right? It's going to be okay. You're getting healthy, you're getting back, but defenses are old, and they just didn't have it against the Chiefs on Monday night. So there you go.
So I'm watching the game, and end of the first half, and it's 7-7. I'm like, okay, Washington trying to do something. I mean, some miscues with Mariota and all, but they try to do something. And at first, I was like, okay, then KC starts to get on their roll, touchdown, second half. It's like, oh, they must have made some really good adjustments, right? And it's like, yeah, but it's Andy Reid. Andy don't really make adjustments. We've seen in Super Bowls where whatever happened in the first half, keep it happening in the second half. And then it kind of reminded me of, the Chicago Bulls in the 90s where like they kind of toy for the first half to three quarters and then like, okay, let's actually win the game now and turn it on. And that's just kind of how it felt that second half. Like, okay, yeah, we were kind of having fun and, trying to keep people to watch, for the commercials in the first half. And okay, we've generated enough revenue that if we blow them out in the second half, we're not going to get in trouble with the league for lack of viewers. Okay, let's do it now. They just Travis Kelce, slow as molasses, wide open on a little shuffle and going 30-something yards downfield.
Make no sense.
Huffing and puffing, right? But anyway.
Make no sense.
Yeah, I am looking forward to this next 3-game run. Colts, Broncos, and Bills, I think in reverse order. And to see how good are these Chiefs. I do give them credit, regardless of how it plays out, understanding after that Super Bowl that they can't lean just on their defense and Patrick Mahomes making plays. And so they actually got some receivers now to help out Mahomes. I think the question is that going to be enough? Because they don't have a running game. The passing game opens up the running game. They can't lean on Pacheco or Hunt in the playoffs like the Colts can, like Buffalo can, if it's bad weather or the quarterback's just off. They don't have that luxury. So, but it's Patrick Mahomes. So yeah. So that's
Yeah, this is the same group of running backs they had last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Super Bowl, right? So they don't need it. They don't need a top-notch running back. Mahomes, he could basically do it all. What I find fascinating is that he's like by himself carrying Kelce. Career like molasses is faster than Kelce right now. Right? Saying slow as molasses is doing, like you're doing a disservice to molasses.
Take my name out your
And I'm
mouth.
like, right, how is this happening? But Mahomes he's masterful with it, the way he's playing the position, and he's been doing this now for a while. And now that he has a couple of weapons back, and it's like a Swiss Army knife. You got different flavors. You got fast guys, you got route runners, you got intermediate guys, you got possession guys, and they're all over the place. And he knows how to get it to each one of them. So I think that's going to be good enough to continue to make them a threat. They do have a gauntlet coming up next with the next couple of games with the Bills, the Broncos, and the Colts, the next 3. So it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of get through those 3 games. They do have a reprieve after that with the Cowboys. So that's a get right.
Yes.
If something, if that goes awry. But yeah, I think the Chiefs, I still think they're a top 5 team, right? They're playing really good, and they're top 5 team because they have Mahomes. Point blank, end of story. So yeah, I think the other side to this, you said it, links with the Commanders. They didn't have Jaden Daniels, so it's kind of hard to really judge them and gauge them based off of that. They're just kind of limping along. It was good to see McLaurin back. It was good to see Deebo Samuel's back. So they're getting the weapons, they're getting healthy, but is it going to be enough to help them make a run to make it to the playoffs? I don't know. And I don't think we've gotten word if Jaden Daniels is going to be back this week or not. So if it continues if this prolongs, then they may find themselves just in the hunt, right, with the draft, trying to get some more assets to help build up the team. But I think they had a valiant effort, especially in the first half. Chiefs just too strong.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, all right. Thursday night game. You got the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Miami to play the 2-6 Dolphins. So you got 2-5 Ravens, 2-6 Dolphins. Lamar Jackson will be back and will be playing in this game on Thursday. So this is a no-brainer for me. The Dolphins are not going to win the game. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens are going to win. I think, the veterans getting things right in the locker room, getting everybody back on the same page. Lamar is back. I think they start putting some things together. And like you said, Lee, I think over the next couple games, they got some really easily games that they could get back to 500 and get themselves back in the hunt. So I think, again, it continues with the Dolphins and they just make that run. So in this game, I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens to win this game on Thursday.
I am glad Miami had their week to, everyone's happy. They won a game, and Tua didn't throw 3 picks, but yeah, they going against Baltimore, and I think they're going to get the best of Lamar. And even being at home, I think Baltimore is going to go into Miami and get themselves a win, and they're going to end up leaving 3-5, faint hopes of making the playoffs still, and Miami will unofficially be where we think they are, which is out of the running for the playoffs and looking forward to next season and trying to figure out what they're going to do with their top 5 pick in the draft. So yeah.
Yeah, trifecta. Yeah, Ravens all the way. I don't see them losing this game. That's it for the Dolphins. I don't see the Dolphins winning another game for at least the next couple of weeks. But the Ravens should win this one easily.
Yeah. It's the writing is on the wall, man. Writing is on the wall. It's downhill from here for them for sure. All right. So I might have to shake things up a little bit. I know, we usually get back on Friday. I'm going to be traveling, so we might have to do this on Thursday during that game. Just let me know what you guys think about that if you could do that. All right.
I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. So
I will be away, but I am going to do my best to bring stuff, so I should be able to play it by ear. But if I'm not, without me, no worries.
Okay. All right then. All right. So
all right, fellas.
we'll see.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good one.